There are over 40 million acres of lawn in the United States of America. That's about the size of the state of Florida. Is that really the best use of all of this land? I say no. And in this video, you're gonna see a whole new paradigm. And this new paradigm is front yard farming. Look, I get it. Lawns are great to chill on, kids play on them, but here's the thing. Water, fertilizer, fossil fuels, labor, all of these inputs go into growing a lawn. All of those resources could be used for food production. Now this is my house, and I love having food everywhere you look. Fruit trees, berry bushes, herbaceous perennials, and I just have this one little section of annual garden. We've got tomatoes, eggplants, kale, zucchinis, peas, lettuce, basil, all growing in this really little space. In fact, I'm really curious just how much space I'm actually dealing with here. All right, so it's about 8.5 feet, 11 feet. That's under 100 square feet, and this provides so much food for me and my family. You've probably got 100 square feet that you could dedicate to gardening. Transforming your front yard can be done in so many different ways. I'm gonna take you on a tour around to see some of the best ones in my neighborhood. All right, let's go walk the neighborhood. I wanna show you something really awesome at my friend's house. I love living in a neighborhood with so many amazing gardens. Honestly, people here judge you more on your yard than on your car. So this is my friend's house. It's a very small space, and there is a ton of food growing in here. So come on, let's go check out the greenhouse. I love this greenhouse. It's built right off of the house, attached out of mostly recycled materials for a low budget. It's so vibrant and beautiful in here. We've got Brussels sprouts, kale, a mini peach tree, carrots, beets, chard, broccoli, red runner beans, a sunflower, cosmos. This place is just loaded with food. This is a great way to maximize food production in a small space, because your season is greatly extended both in the springtime and the fall, because you're protected from the early and late frosts. So they built these 2 raised beds in the front yard, and you can see they've built these protective hoop houses over the garden beds. This protects them from the strong sun, but also from browsing deer in the neighborhood. So these are not really big beds. This is not a huge space, but you can see these beds are gonna be bumping with productivity. So what are we looking at as far as square footage here? All right, so that's about 230 square feet of growing space. Not a lot of room, a lot of food. This has always been my favorite yard in the whole neighborhood. The thing I love about this yard is there's no fancy raised beds or infrastructure. It's just rows of crops placed in their right location. The abundance here is amazing. We've got a booming kale patch, thornless blackberry, Asian pear, lettuce flowering, string beans, all packed into one small lot. This used to be a garage, and now it's a south-facing room. You can see the grapevine grows up. This time of year, it's shading those windows from the sun. In the wintertime, when it loses its leaves, the sunlight comes right in and heats that room. And plus, you get all of those grapes. The size of this lot is pretty typical for the suburban American home. All right, so that's about 1,500 square feet. If you can do this in this yard, you can do this in any suburban scale yard. So why would you put in a lawn when you could have a garden like this? This yard keeps it really simple. The entire thing is planted in an orchard of fig trees. Pretty much all they have to do is prune and harvest. Figs don't get diseases here. They don't have a pest here. They don't really need water. It's a very hardy tree, and you can see that this orchard has created a complete canopy over the front yard and the sidewalk. Super simple, super abundant, and super beautiful too. Maybe you don't have time for gardening. Well, here's your solution. So what if you don't have room for a garden, but you do have room for a fence? This is a fence made of apple trees. These trees have been pruned in a particular way to keep them two-dimensional. It's called espalier. What I've shown you today is not very sophisticated. Why are food gardens not our default front yard landscapes? Thankfully, in my neighborhood, in my small town in Western Oregon, that paradigm is changing, and lots of people are putting their energy and putting their time into creating beautiful front yard gardens. I only hope that where you live, people are not so constrained by the lawn paradigm that growing a garden in your front yard has to be some radical act. It's a lot more of a logical act, in my opinion, because you never know when you are gonna have to grow a garden. We can change the cultural paradigm. We can move this thing over to the garden paradigm. All it takes is a simple decision on your part to get started. It's a wild world out there, and nobody knows what's coming next. But I do know that I'm having zucchini for dinner tonight. Are you ready to transform deserts, create lush backyards, and feed communities? In my almost 30 years as a permaculture designer traveling the world, I've put everything I learned into Oregon State University's online permaculture design course, or PDC. The PDC and PDC Pro are the ultimate ways to begin mastering permaculture. Me and my team guide you through over 20 assignments with more than 100 hours of top quality video lectures and resources, all focused on developing your own property or project throughout the course. You'll get personalized feedback from a dedicated instructor in a small group setting. People are always asking me, how can I be part of the solution? This is your starting point. Check the link below for upcoming courses and join us in creating a better world for everyone. See you in class.